Today, we will be exploring a fascinating topic that has always drawn human attention: how God will recreate us after death on the Day of Judgment. In the Quran, God uses natural processes as examples to help us understand what often seems like a mystery, such as the revival of plants in spring. Imagine fields lying dormant during winter, dead and lifeless, and then spring comes, bringing everything back to life. Just as plants come to life after a cold season, our bodies will also be resurrected, emerging from the earth by God's will. Additionally, we'll look at the amazing similarities between plants and our own bodies, which, as we'll see, are much more than mere coincidence. Join us on this journey through nature, the human body, and divine wisdom. Through examples from nature and scientific discoveries, together we'll discover how nature reminds us of God's power and the truth about our recreation. Throughout history, there have been those who believed in life after death and resurrection, as well as many more who denied it. God sent prophets throughout history to inform their people that there will be resurrection after death, sometime in the future when the Day of Judgment arrives. On that day, God will recreate our bodies, and our souls will return to these bodies so that He may judge each person for their actions in this world. In the final revelation, the Quran, and through the teachings in the hadiths of Prophet Muhammad, we are informed that God will establish new natural laws on the Day of Judgment to recreate our bodies, just as He brings plants to life in spring after the dormant winter season. Through the Quran, God provides logical evidence to those who deny resurrection after death. God says in the Quran, chapter 36, 77-79, "Does man not consider that we created him from a mere sperm drop? Then at once he is a clear adversary? And he presents for us an example and forgets his own creation. He says, 'Who will give life to bones while they are disintegrated?' Say to him, Muhammad, 'He will give them life who produced them the first time, and He is of all creation knowing.'" Chapter 37, 16-20. What? After we have died and become dust and bones, shall we really be raised up again along with our forefathers? Say to them, Muhammad, "Yes, indeed, and you will be humiliated." Just one blast, and lo and behold, they will look and say, "Woe to us! This is the Day of Judgment." God shall bring the dead back to life on the Day of Judgment. Fingertips and resurrection. Example, God says in the Quran 75:3, "Does man think we shall not put his bones back together?" Yes. We are able to make complete even his very fingertips. In other words, if you think I am not capable of recreating you after you decay, I am capable of recreating even your fingertips, which are unique to every human being. Iron and stone fossils. Coming back to life on the Day of Judgment. God says in the Quran 17:49-51, They, disbelievers, also say, "What? When we are turned to bones and dust, shall we really be raised up in a new act of creation?" Say to them, Muhammad, "Yes, even if you were as hard as stone or iron or any other substance you think hard to bring to life." Then they will say, "Who will bring us back?" Say to them, Muhammad, "The one who created you the first time." Then they will shake their heads at you and say, "When will that be?" Say to them, Muhammad, "It may well be very soon." The dinosaur bones that you see on display at the museum aren't really bones at all. Through the process of fossilization, ancient animal bones are turned into rock. Shells can become iron pyrite, also known as fool's gold, through a process called periodization. God mentions stones and iron as examples in the verse when it comes to bones or fossils turning into stones or iron, as if God is saying to us, "Even if your bones turn to rocks and iron, I will still recreate you on the Day of Judgment." and resurrection. Example, God says, chapter 54, verse 7, "They will emerge from their graves with downcast eyes, like swarming locusts." Here we see how God provides an example from periodical cicada insects, found only in North America, which live underground for 17 years and emerge on the surface every 17th year. God compares these insects to the resurrection of people on the Day of Judgment, who will be under the ground and, when the time of resurrection comes, will emerge from their graves, not as some sort of zombies, but as real human beings, just as cicadas emerge from the ground all at once. And resurrection example. God says in the Quran, 35:9, "It is God who sends forth the winds, they raise up the clouds, we drive them to a dead land, and with them revive the earth after its death, such will be the resurrection." Abu Huraira narrated in a hadith that Prophet Muhammad said, "The earth would consume every part of the son of Adam after his death, except for one bone, the coccyx, the bone at the base of the vertebral column, from which he is created and from which his body will be reconstituted on the day of resurrection." Narrated Al-Amash. Abu Huraira said, Allah's apostle said, "Between the two sounds of the trumpet, there will be 40. Somebody asked Abu Huraira, 40 days? But he refused to reply. Then he asked, 40 months? He refused to reply. Then he asked, 40 years? Again, he refused to reply. Abu Huraira added, "Then, after this period, Allah will send water from the sky, and then the dead bodies will grow like vegetation grows. There is nothing of the human body that does not decay, except for the little bone at the end of the coccyx, from which the human body will be recreated on the day of resurrection." Hadith Sahih Bukhari. How a plant grows from a seed. If God has created a natural process in this world where a big tree grows from a little seed, complete with leaves and fruits, then why would it be difficult for him to recreate a human being from the coccyx bone, which resembles a seed, and transform it into a body with flesh and bones? Just as we observe examples that highlight the similarity between the creation of trees and humans, this is why God says that humans will be recreated on the Day of Judgment like plants, trees, or vegetation. Human muscles looking like leaves. Design of human muscles on microscale. Pattern of leaves on a plant stem. Perfect match between muscles' internal design and leaf patterns in plants. The myosin filament can resemble a plant with leaves when visualized at a molecular level, particularly due to the structure of its myosin heads. Vessels in the human body resembling tree branches, a perfect match between tree branches and blood vessels in humans. Lungs. Take in oxygen from the air and release carbon dioxide into the atmosphere during exhalation. Trees. Take in carbon dioxide from the atmosphere and release oxygen as a byproduct of photosynthesis. Similarities between human skin and leaves in plants. There is an astounding correlation between the layers of the skin and those of leaves. The outer layers of the skin contain fatty material, which prevents water loss from the body. The outer layers of leaves contain a waxy coating, which prevents water loss from the plant. Water vessels that supply leaves with nutrients are similar to blood vessels, which supply the skin with nutrients needed for the functioning of skin cells. This video will explore how resurrection plants, like the Sahara resurrection plant and Xerophyta, can survive years of dormancy and come back to life. This incredible phenomenon mirrors the concept in the Quran, where the resurrection of the dead on the Day of Judgment is compared to the revival of plants after they appear lifeless.
Rising from the sand, a dried-out ball of twigs. In strong winds, it can travel. This plant may have been dead for 100 years. Yet its name suggests that all is not lost. For this is a resurrection plant. Around here, rain might only fall once or twice a year. But if you're searching for decades, that might be enough. Dead limbs absorb water and unfurl in a matter of minutes. But the resurrection plant needs one more miracle. Rain must fall on its branches before they dry out and close up again. Within hours, shoots emerge. In just a few weeks, they flower and develop seeds of their own. Then, before they can grow any larger, the sun kills them. But their seeds live on, ready for when the rains return, even if that is a century from now.
As you can see in this video, this resurrection plant can appear dead for 100 years and then come back to life. This is exactly the same process God will use when humans are resurrected on the Day of Judgment. What you are witnessing now is, in fact, a glimpse of the process of your own resurrection. What you're seeing now is the remarkable resurrection plant, Xerophyta. These plants are commonly referred to as resurrection plants because of their remarkable ability to survive extreme drought conditions and come back to life after being rehydrated. That resembles the organs they are good for, a hint of why God compares human resurrection to vegetation. Carrots resemble eyes. Carrots are rich in vitamin A, which supports good vision. Walnuts resemble brain. The shape of walnuts resembles the brain, and they are high in omega-3 fatty acids, which support brain function. Kidney beans resemble kidneys. Kidney beans are shaped like kidneys and are known to support kidney health due to their high fiber and antioxidant content, which help detoxify the body and support kidney function. Sweet potatoes resemble pancreas. Their shape resembles the pancreas, and they are rich in beta-carotene and fiber, which help maintain healthy blood sugar levels. Celery resemble bones. The long stalks resemble bones, and celery is rich in calcium, which helps bone health. Ginger resembles stomach. The root-like shape is similar to the stomach, and ginger helps with digestion and reduces nausea. Grapes resemble alveoli, lungs. Grapes are made up of small clusters, similar to the alveoli in the lungs. Grapes are rich in antioxidants and vitamin C, which help protect lung tissue and improve respiratory health. Blueberries resemble blood. Blueberries are small, round, and dark, resembling blood cells. They are rich in antioxidants, especially anthocyanins, which help improve circulation, reduce inflammation, and support overall blood health. God says in the Quran, "And that they may know that the judgment day is coming, there is no doubt about it, and that Allah will resurrect those in the graves. He brings the living out of the dead, and He brings the dead out of the living, and He gives life to the earth after its lifelessness. And thus will you be brought out. And the horn will be blown, and at once they will rush from their graves to their Lord. They will say, "O woe to us! Who has raised us up from our sleeping place?" This is what the Most Merciful had promised, and the messengers told the truth. On the day when Allah will resurrect them all and inform them of what they did, Allah had enumerated it while they forgot it, and Allah is, over all things, witness. Every soul will taste death, and you will only be given your full compensation on the day of resurrection. So he who is drawn away from the fire and admitted to paradise has attained his desire. And what is the life of this world except the enjoyment of delusion?